before the pyramids rose, before the first wheel turned. Someone pressed a reed into wet clay and wrote down the name of a god. That clay dried. It survived 4,000 years, and the name is still legible tonight if you know how to read the wedges. These are not the oldest gods you have heard of. They are the oldest gods anyone ever wrote down. The very first. A god of fresh water, sleeping beneath the earth. A goddess of the salt sea, vast, coiled, and patient. A young warrior who split a dragon in half and doped the sky from her ribs. A queen who rules a land of no return, where the dead crouch in the dark and eat dust. A goddess who walked into that darkness willingly and had to leave someone behind to walk back out. Names you almost know, wearing older names you don't. Ishtar was Inanna first. Ea was Enki first. This is the source code, the first draft of heaven and the underworld, written in a language no one has spoken in 2,000 years. Every flood myth, every dying and rising god, every war in heaven, a version of it was told here first. In the mud brick cities between two rivers, in the land the Greeks would later call Mesopotamia. Tonight, the whole pantheon. The primordial waters, the war that made the world, and the great gods who ruled it. This is the oldest religion humanity ever recorded, and here is exactly how its universe began. Start with the land, a flat plain of silt between the Tigris and the Euphrates. Merciless sun, floods no one could predict. Here, around 3500 BCE, the Sumerians built the first cities on Earth, Uruk, Ur, Eridu, and raised towers toward their gods. Those towers were ziggurats, not tombs, not temples exactly. Mountains of brick, built so a god might come down and stay. Later the Akkadians conquered Sumer and kept its gods, only renaming them. Later still, Babylon rose, then Assyria. Same gods, new masters, new languages layered on top. A Sumerian core wearing a Babylonian coat. Remember that, it explains everything. Now the beginning. When there was no heaven above and no earth below, there was only water. Two waters mingling. Apsu, the fresh water, the sweet water deep underground. Male, calm, the source of every spring and well. Tiamat, the salt sea. Vast, primordial, female. Chaos with a body. The mother of everything that would come. Where their waters met and mixed, the first gods were born. Not made, born, the way new land is born where river meets sea. Generation followed generation. Anshar and Kishar, then Anu, god of the sky, then wise Ea, deep, clever, patient. And the young gods were loud. They danced, they clamored, they churned Tiamat's belly and gave old Apsu no peace. This is the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian epic of creation. Its name is just its first two words, when on high. 7 clay tablets, 1,000 lines, recited aloud every new year in Babylon to remake the world for another turn of the sun. In it, Apsu cannot sleep. The noise of his own descendants maddens him, so he decides quietly to kill them all. His vizier, Mumu, urges him on. But Tiamat recoils. These are her children. She will not raise a hand against them. The plot leaks. Ea hears of it, and Ea does not wait to be murdered in his sleep. He weaves a spell. He pours slumber over Apsu, the god of water, drowned in a deeper water. Then he kills him. On the dead body of Apsu, Ea builds his home, and there, in that stillness, his son is born. Marduk. Marduk, tall beyond reason, 4 eyes, 4 ears, fire on his lips, clothed in the radiance of 10 gods, made for one purpose. But Tiamat is not finished. The other gods rouse her grief into rage. Avenge Apsu, they whisper. Destroy the young. And Tiamat answers. She births an army of monsters, serpent dragons, scorpion men, a horde with venom instead of blood. She raises a champion to lead them, Kingu. To his chest she fastens the tablet of destinies, the deed to the entire universe. Whoever holds that tablet commands fate itself. Now chaos holds it, and the young gods one by one lose their nerve. Anu goes out to face her and turns back. Ea goes and turns back. No god will stand against the mother of the sea. Then Marduk speaks. I will fight her, but if I win, I rule. My word becomes law above all of yours. Desperate, they agree. They crown him. They test his power. At his command, a garment vanishes into nothing and returns. Marduk arms himself, bow and arrow, a crushing mace, lightning for a face, 7 winds, and a great net to trap the sea. He mounts his storm chariot and rides out. Tiamat opens her jaws to swallow him whole. He drives the evil wind between them. Her mouth cannot close. Her belly swells with roaring wind. And into that opening Marduk looses a single arrow through the gut, through the heart. Tiamat, the salt sea, the mother of gods, falls dead. Her monster army scatters. He binds Kingu and takes the tablet back. Then Marduk does the unthinkable. He splits her vast corpse lengthwise, like a shellfish, into 2 enormous halves. One half he lifts and stretches overhead. That becomes the sky, holding back her waters. The other becomes the earth beneath your feet. From her eyes he opens the Tigris and the Euphrates. Her breasts become the mountains. Her twisted tail, the band of the Milky Way. He sets the stars in place as stations for the gods. He fixes the moon to mark the months, the sun to mark the days. The universe is a body. You are standing inside the corpse of a slain goddess. That is the Babylonian sky in full. But the gods still need servants, someone to farm, to build, to carry the labor of heaven. So Marduk makes one last thing. Kingu, the rebel champion, is condemned for the war. His blood is spilled and mixed into wet clay. From the blood of a traitor god and the mud of the earth, Ea shapes the first humans, made to work, made to serve. That is who you are in this story. Clay and rebel blood, built to carry the burden the gods laid down. So the world has its maker. But Marduk did not rule alone. Behind him stood a pantheon far older than Babylon itself. Meet them properly now, and watch the name shift as the centuries pass. Sumerian into Akkadian, one god beneath 2 masks. First, the sky. Anu in Sumerian, simply An. The word means heaven. He is the father of the gods, the highest of all. He does little and says less. He is authority itself, the source of kingship, the crown resting on an empty throne. Too remote to pray to easily. When men wanted a god who acted, they looked lower to his powerful sons. Enlil, god of wind, storm, and the air between heaven and earth. If Anu was the distant king, Enlil ran the world. From his temple at Nippur he held the tablet of destinies and handed out kingship to mortal rulers, city by city. He was also dangerous. In the flood story, it was Enlil who tired of humanity's noise and called down the deluge to erase us, and who warned humanity. Enki, the Akkadians called him Ea, god of fresh water, wisdom, magic, and cunning craft. He dwelt in the Apsu, the sweet water beneath the earth, in his city Eridu, the oldest city the Sumerians ever knew. Enki is the clever one, the trickster who loves his own creation. When the gods vote to drown mankind, he leaks the plan. He whispers through a reed wall to a righteous man, build a boat, save the seed of life, the oldest flood warning ever told. Then Marduk himself, son of Ea, once a minor farming god, raised to king of heaven as Babylon rose to empire. His symbol, the spade, and the mushusu, a scaled snake dragon that prowled across the blue-tiled Ishtar gate. Priests recited 50 names for him. Each name stripped a power from an older god and pinned it to Marduk's chest. And now the most electric of them all, Inanna. To the Akkadians, Ishtar, goddess of love and of war. An impossible pairing, and that is the point. Desire and violence, the two forces that make people lose their minds. Her star is Venus, blazing at dawn and dusk. Her animal is the lion. She rides it as if it were a throne. She takes lovers and destroys them. She starts wars for sport. She is worshipped, feared, and never, ever ignored. And she did something no other great god dared. She went down, alive, into the land of the dead. Her sister rules there. Ereshkigal, queen of the great below, mistress of the dust where the dead crouch in the dark. Inanna descends toward the underworld and finds 7 gates. At each gate, a guardian demands she surrender one thing: her crown, her jewels, her royal robe, piece by piece, until she stands before her sister stripped of all her power. And there, judged by the dead, Inanna is struck down, a corpse, hung on a hook on the wall, left to rot. Enki saves her, sends tiny creatures with the food and water of life to steal her back. But the dead demand a price. Someone must take her place. She chooses her own husband, Dumuzi. Half the year he dies below, half he returns. The seasons were born. Do not forget the sister. Ereshkigal keeps the realm the Sumerians called Urkala, a house of dust you enter and never leave. Grim, wronged, and powerful. Later the war god Nergal storms her realm, and rather than die, she makes him her husband and king. Look up now. The moon is a god. Nanna in Sumer, Sin in Akkad. His city was Ur, crowned by its great ziggurat. They called him the Lord of Wisdom, measuring out the months, his crescent, the curved horns of a bull crossing the night sky. The kings and high priestesses of Ur all served him. Father of the sun, father of Inanna, the elder light in the dark. His son is the sun. Utu in Sumerian, Shamash in Akkadian. He rises each dawn from the eastern mountains, rays on his shoulders. He sees everything, nothing hides from the sun. So he became the god of justice, the judge of both gods and men. On a great stone stele, King Hammurabi stands before Shamash, receiving the law itself from the god who misses nothing. Then the mother, Ninhursag, Lady of the Mountain, one of the oldest of all, the great Earth Mother who shaped life. Mother of gods and men, she helped mold the first humans from clay. Kings boasted they were nourished on her sacred milk. Nergal, plague, war, and the scorching noon sun that kills the crops. A god of the underworld, violent and feverish. He is death's other face. Not the quiet dust of Ereshkigal, but the burning fever that drags a body down into the grave. And in the north, one more. Ashur, the god of Assyria, born from a single city and raised to rule a whole empire. When Assyria eclipsed Babylon, its scribes rewrote the Enuma Elish and quietly replaced Marduk with Ashur as the hero. Same epic, same dragon, a new champion. The gods themselves were rewritten to match whoever now held the sword. Because that is the deep truth of these gods. They rose and they fell with the cities that first named them. A god was a city's landlord. When the city triumphed, its god ruled heaven. When it fell, its god sank into the dust. And yet they did not truly vanish. They soaked into everything that came after them. A great flood, a righteous man, a boat, the saving of all life, pressed into clay here, long before it was written anywhere else. A god who dies and rises with the seasons, a goddess of love and war, a battle in heaven that founds the world, all first told here. And one name outlasted them all. Gilgamesh, part god, part king, who set out searching for the secret of eternal life. His epic, pressed in clay, is the oldest great story humanity has kept. He looked death in the face and was afraid, like you. Here is what stays with me. These tablets were dug from the sand, unread for millennia, and translated within living memory. For 2,000 years, no one alive could recite these gods' names. Then a scholar decoded the wedge marks, and they woke. Apsu and Tiamat, Marduk and the shattered sky, Inanna at the seventh gate, awake again after the longest silence in history. The oldest gods we ever wrote down. Not the first gods humans imagined, but the first we can still, tonight, read back. Press a reed into wet clay, and a god can wait 4,000 years for you to speak his name. Someone did. And here you are.